Hey everybody, today we are doing another episode of Star Wars Wednesday. I'm Matt, and I'm here along with.
I have not revealed my name since I took the mantle and put on the helmet. Therefore, I will be known as that guy.
Oh, Jesus H fuck. I thought you were gonna be like the Tristalorian, and that would have been fun, but you're like that guy, and I'm like, you know what? You can you can leave. All
Oh,
right,
but
so
my backstory is really well thought out and interesting, and
no,
definitely
no,
better than the movie series that's out right now.
no, it isn't. You should leave. Well, I
Uh,
mean, okay, well, it is. When you said better than the movies, you are
bad,
correct.
bad Mandalorian noises,
Sad Mandalorian noises. Is that
which
what?
means I'm leaving a thermal detonator in your drink.
Fair. Okay. So, but we are those guys. And so this, we're talking about the Mandalorian season one, and I have to say, and I was telling Tristan this behind the scenes. We get to pull back the curtain. This has really kind of renewed my love of Star Wars, and it sucks because every time I talk about the new trilogy, like I have to preface it with, I'm not a sexist and a racist. I actually love Rose Tico and I love Marie Tran. The issue is that even though I haven't seen episode 9, I've heard some things, so we're not doing an episode 9 review right now, but neither one of us here are sitting here like episode 8 was terrible because SJWs, because no,
Yeah,
that's stupid. The thing is though is that it's just, in my opinion, the tying everything in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I just feel as if 4, 5, and 6 were just fine ending right there. And if you wanted to do something like a spin-off film or a spin-off series with the original cast, either animated, you're doing official comic books, of course, now through Disney or through Marvel.
yeah.
So I don't have a problem with any of that, or even through video games or things like that, which they have done in the past, I'm sure. But having them tie in with these new cast of characters, it feels like you don't really get to kind of work with them as much. And because I do want to see them grow and change, I do want to see, more of them. But I feel like just with 7 and 8, especially with different creative visions, and then what I've heard about episode 9, again, not spoiling anything here, but with what I've heard of episode 9, it just seems like it is a mess. And again, but I'm still going to see it in theaters because I haven't seen it yet. But when looking at 7 and 8, I just feel like, it's just two ships passing in the night going in completely opposite directions. And looking at something like this, where again, I don't hate the Skywalkers. I've loved them in 4, 5, and 6. Felt a little weird about 1, 2, and 3. We've reviewed those on the podcast before. Everybody knows how I feel about that. If you've been listening in for a long time, you know how Tristan feels about those movies. But Tristan, we talked about this, so you can't deny it now, Tristan. This season, this series so far, better than episode 9, and maybe even better than the new trilogy.
Yeah, Matt, why would I deny that?
Well, no, because I knew your thoughts on episode 9. I didn't throw the whole trilogy at you, though, until right now. So you think this is better than the entire new trilogy?
I mean, I feel a little weird comparing because movies and longer running TV shows. Granted, okay, I guess I'll say yes in the idea that you can tell a longer story and build up a longer story in a TV show series like this versus a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, but let's just say even if they just stopped it, because the thing is, we look at, let's see, so it's 3 2-hour movies, let's say, right, 6 hours. The Mandalorian clocks in at how many hours? At 40 minutes apiece for 8 episodes. It obviously clocks in at more than that, right? Because an hour and a half for 2 episodes, let's say, even though each one wasn't 40 minutes, but let's say that it was. So an hour and a half each episode. So hour and a half, 3 hours, 4.5 hours. So yeah, it does clock in at a bit more than the length of all three movies, especially because some of the Star Wars movies, the newer ones, did go a bit longer. I think the newest one was like over 2 hours, right?
Yes.
Yes. But I only talk about this. Yes, there are two different mediums, of course, but I feel as if them moving away from the Skywalkers, moving away from lineage, just kind of making the galaxy feel bigger. Something that Lucas had a problem doing with 1, 2, and 3. And it seems like JJ also seems to have a problem in doing. Just, I want this, to see more of this galaxy, despite some of my issues with Solo, and we reviewed that as well. One of my something that was not an issue was being able to see more of the galaxy.
Yeah. And I mean,
So,
really, that's always been Star Wars' greatest strength is having a universe to tell stories in. Like that was probably the best thing that George Lucas did was creating the universe itself.
but the issue is, and we've talked about this before, and if we haven't, here we are now. With 4, 5, and 6, he has such a great creative team behind him, like his wife
Oh,
and
yeah.
many other people behind him,
Yeah.
that it then collapsed with 1, 2, and 3. And what, in my opinion, maybe not all three of them in your opinion, but there were issues, and we've talked about them before on the podcast.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this series, it's not about being in George Lucas's hands. It's not even about being in J.J. Abrams' hands. To be fair, it's about the idea that this is something that Star Wars has needed to do for a very long time, and Star Trek got right. Yes, it went from TOS to the films, but then once TNG came out, yes, they had films for TNG, but they exclusively went to television for TNG, Voyager, DS9, Enterprise,
Right.
and of course now with the newest series as well. And yes, of course you had the Abrams movies, but they weren't really fitting into any specific canon.
Yeah, no, that was its own
Yeah, the Kelvin timeline,
basically, yeah.
as it's called. It's called the Kelvin timeline for reasons that I cannot remember, and I just straight up can't remember. It's too late for me to remember. But if we got John on the line from Star Trek Thursday, maybe John or Anthony, they'd be able to tell us. But
Right.
but point is that the Star Wars needed to move to television. It just needed to. And I'm not saying that it needs to stop movies, although now I do feel like they should stop movies for a while. But it's not like a 7, 8, or 9 should have never existed necessarily. I think they took long enough, in my opinion. When you really think about it and you look at the dates, I'm like, oh wow, it had been long enough. But with a new Star Wars movie every year, and Rogue One was amazing,
Yes.
I still feel like pre Rogue One.
I still love that this is coming from you, of all people, that you had that running gag with me about Rogue One for the longest time.
What was my running gag? I'm sure it was very funny because I made the joke, but what was the running gag?
Your gag was like, "Oh, come on, Tristan. Rogue One wasn't that bad."
Because I make. Why did I make that joke with you? I mean, I'm sure people could listen to the archives, but it's
Yeah,
been a while.
I'm sure you just did it to fuck with me.
Well, you know what it was? I think it's one of those things where Rogue One, like I think I said it at the time, in some ways it felt like it was like a special, if you will, like a TV special, but not in a bad way, because we reviewed bad TV specials.
Yes.
So I didn't mean that negatively. It just meant it felt like a weird side story. But I think in context of then seeing Solo and also seeing episode 8, I'm like, nah, Rogue One, you aight. You good, man. We good. We cool. Um, but I think it's just a thing where, but even the idea of Rogue One and then seeing all those characters come together and how that worked out and the ending to that story, it just feels right. Especially again, coming off the heels of Solo, where basically no one could die. That's not a spoiler. Everyone appears in episode 4 pretty much from that film. Like who's, traveling, and the stakes are very low for that reason, in my opinion. It wasn't a bad movie compared to what everyone else had to say about it, in my opinion, but
Yeah.
the stakes were very, very, very low. It's not a spoiler in saying no one could die.
Right.
So with Rogue One, obviously turned that on its head. So with 4, 5, and 6, I was very hyped. I was a child. I loved them. I wore out the VHS tapes. With 1, 2, and 3, the past did die.
Very hyped. I wore out those VHS tapes.
Yeah, because you grew up with 1, 2, and 3 as well. Because I mean, we both obviously are the same age, but when I saw 1 in theaters, I had seen 4, 5, and 6 so much on tape, and I thought you had too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, but for some reason, when I saw 1, I was not as impressed as a kid. Although I was impressed with Duel of Fates, obviously. And then when I saw 2 and 3, as I grew older, I was less impressed. And George Lucas took that Kylo Ren quote. It hadn't even existed yet, and George Lucas didn't make Kylo Ren. And it was, "Let the past die, kill it if you have
Oh.
to." I because I did not feel as hyped about the Star Wars, and then again I loved 4, 5, and 6, still do. But 1, 2, and 3 again always iffy ground with me, especially 2. Ooh. And then when I saw 7, I didn't hate it. I think I really liked it if I remember correctly when we first saw it.
Yeah.
And then Rogue One came out, and I was like, I don't know. And then 8 came out, and I was like, please, Rogue One. And then Solo came out, and I was like, yeah, Rogue One, yeah. And now with 9 and all of his stuff surrounding it, which again, not gonna spoil. I just feel like this is the most hyped I've been about Star Wars in a while, and it felt like each and every episode was its own very well crafted story.
Yeah.
There was continuity between each and every one, but not in the way that Marvel, Netflix TV shows are, which I think really kind of tire you out.
Right.
And it's hard to explain it, but I'll try to explain it because here we are. I kind of have to fucking do that. And we're kind of doing a podcast thing.
I mean, you could just do a Space Wizard hand wave,
but no one will see it. And so the problem is, Tristan, and you've seen the first season of Daredevil. It's been a while, but I think we've talked about this before off podcast. The idea that when you have episodes that, yes, these episodes were not confined to a certain episode length, but none of them went up to an hour or an hour and 10 minutes. Because even though those episodes, Netflix is trying to make it so that they drop them all in one day, they want you to marathon them, but it feels harder to do so with that type of run length. And then for some reason they have these teasers, even though they're all out anyway, they have these little teasers that are like, oh, this guy just like got shot, do you want to see what happens next? But for me, I take it as, damn, that's a huge fucking thing though. Like, it's actually a lot of emotions. Some people immediately click the button to like see the next one. Sometimes for me, with how like heavy some of those ends are, but it's like, no, but you want to see the next one, right? I actually kind of recoil a bit. I'm like, ooh,
I need a breather. I need to breathe.
exactly. And that was the issue for me with certain shows like Daredevil and some other ones as well. Don't get me wrong, Jessica Jones, I marathoned the fuck out of that. But there were certain ones that had that issue for me. And again, length was also an issue as well. So having some of these actually be 38 minutes and then some be 41 minutes, and each one having what I consider to be a satisfying conclusion, it made me feel somehow more inclined to look at the next one. By the way, I would like to note, everybody, Tristan was watching it on a weekly basis. I actually waited till a few days before we did this, and I got the Disney Plus free trial, and I just saw every episode at once in one day on the weekend. Don't know how I did it. Tristan, I'm a champ. I don't know how, but when I saw the first one, within the first like 10 minutes, internally I was a little weepy eyed. I was like, oh my god! Like, the phrase that I kept on thinking was like, Star Wars can be this good,
Right.
because for a while for me it's been adequate at best in certain respects.
Yeah. And I can understand why you and people feel like that. And it makes me sad in a way because I really do love this series. But I get it.
Well, because the issue is, and this is not necessarily a you problem, but I'm gonna put it out there, everybody. Tristan, you consume so much other media that it's in the Star Wars universe that you can say, oh, I love this franchise because you've consumed so much other good content in the franchise, whether or not it's canon or not anymore. You have the novels, you have the comic books, you have the newer comic books. I think you've at least perused some of the older ones. I don't think you own any of them, like pre-Disney.
Yeah, no, like I've listened to stuff about older comic series. My parents actually have a lot of Legends books that I need to get through.
Exactly. But I bring it up though because you're so entrenched in this that you're like, but and you're somewhere, maybe not in the back of your mind, but like your first thought could be, man, Matt's saying this. It's like, well, yes, because I've, only seen the 8 films. And
Yeah,
by the way, I don't dislike Clone Wars, but I've seen only about maybe like 2 seasons, whatever we've done of podcast reviews. It's been a while of
yeah.
Clone Wars. I've also seen Droids, which I'm not saying that that's taken, and
My,
Ewoks. I'm not saying that that's taking it away. I'm just saying that
I mean,
people's
by that degree, you've seen Ewoks too.
that's what I said. I said Ewoks. I'm not gonna leave that one off the table.
God.
But no, but I bring it up, dude, because even if we take away some of the stuff that we've done for the podcast, just stuff that is more mainstream. Yeah, recent Star Wars has been a little bit wonky.
Yeah,
One has been good, one maybe has not been so good, one has been polarizing for different reasons. I mean, for anyone wondering, just a little snippet. Well, Matt, what problem do you have with episode 8? Well, even though I love Rose Tico, I don't really see why there needs to be a romance between her and with Finn when there's a good Poe right there.
yeah,
There's a Poe Dameron in the distance.
yeah.
So it didn't really make sense to me. And again, like not like Rose can't have a relationship with anybody there. Maybe she has a relationship with Rey. I don't know, but there's no reason why, in my opinion, especially because it just didn't feel. Maybe they did have chemistry, and it's been a while, but I didn't sense that chemistry as much when I saw episode 8.
Yeah,
But it's been a while, so I actually do want to see them all again. I've seen episodes 1 and 2. I want to watch them chronologically. I've seen 1 and 2, and I'm stuck on episode 3 for about like 2 weeks.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
think the biggest problem really for me is just for the new sequel trilogy. If you want to compare, the sequel trilogy to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian has a clear-cut story that they want to tell. They have the time to develop the characters that
Yes.
they bring to the table.
Yes.
They have a straightforward vision that they want to show with these characters.
Exactly. And it might seem like that's kind of what we're trying to push at here. It might seem like that we're just kind of complaining and going off about older movies and TV shows and whatnot, but really it's all in service to how good this show actually is.
Yeah. And that's what Star Wars has kind of been missing. It's good storytelling. And not as a whole, like you said, there's still plenty of comics that have been coming out. Like there are comic series that I've loved the storytelling behind. And there's plenty of novels that have come out that have been fantastic.
But looking at it,
the mainline movies have kind of been missing that.
exactly. And when you look at mainline, people think of movies and people think of television.
Yeah.
So this, even though it's on a streaming service, what was that?
No, sorry, joking. It's funny though, like saying, yeah, television series for mainline. There are still people who haven't watched Clone Wars.
Well, also to be fair, it
Not
does have it has the stink of being attached to episode 2 Attack of the Clones.
I suppose.
And also it's the fact that, it's animated, and for some people, and it was on Cartoon Network, for some people they look at that and go, nah.
Yeah.
So, I disagree with that, but I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. It's like, okay, if that's, you do you, but
Yeah. But no, I only bring that up just because, it is what it is. So when looking at, mainline live action is what they're referring to, either for television or for film, this is something that Star Wars has needed to do for a very, very long time, because I just think that, at this point, again, it's not like that the movies just completely aren't cutting it. They should never make another movie again. But this is what was needed. And like you said, very clear cut story, what they wanted to tell. They had it, they have a vision going forward. They already, of course, have a teaser for next season if there is one. There's some speculation that they might, by the way, there will be spoilers in this review. By the way, there's also some talk about there might being a Mandalorian movie. If there is, that's dumb. Don't do that.
I mean, yeah.
No, let me explain. I don't have the numbers in front of me because I don't work at Disney. If their show got, if they got, like, let's say they have 5 million people subscribed right now. If 4 million saw The Mandalorian, maybe that makes sense to make a movie out of it. But I feel as if they're going to have a wake up call because people are watching The Mandalorian either like myself with a free trial or with the idea that I'm watching this in conjunction with all of these other shows and whatnot. So
Right.
if they go, so people aren't going to go, wait, but I saw this quote unquote for free. It wasn't, but this idea that when you watch something on Netflix, it's for free, despite the fact that there is a subscription fee tied to it. So, oh, I saw The Mandalorian for free at home. Why am I going to go now watch it for, $13 or more on the big screen? Especially if people feel like, well, it's going to appear within 6 months on the Disney Plus streaming service anyway.
Yeah.
So again, these were rumors. I don't have the article in front of me. If this is the case, though, really dumb idea. There should be a season 2 before there's ever even any kind of talks of a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
agree with that.
yeah. By the way, 8 episodes. Love that too. Very short, very concise. Again, comparing it to Marvel's Netflix shows. There was, and again, I'm exclusively talking about the ones like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, ones that were, and Defenders, exclusively made for Netflix. Those had a huge issue, in my opinion, and you didn't get that far into them, Tristan, to notice this, I think. But please comment if you did, where it felt like some arcs in the middle would just happen just to extend the episode count. Like, let's say, for instance, right, Daredevil is about to snap Wilson Fisk's neck.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, woo, woo, come out with your hands up. And then all of a sudden, Wilson Fisk throws him off and then runs away. And it's like, damn it, I almost had the Kingpin, but now he's gone. And this happened like in the middle of the season. So now we have to wait another 6 episodes for this to happen again. Oh no. That happened a lot with different shows. Maybe not so much with Daredevil because I know you didn't even get too far into that. I think got like maybe season 2-ish, but it
Yeah.
happened with some other ones like Jessica Jones in season 2 and a few other shows as well where like they were this close to essentially just saving the day, if you will, and
Right.
then something happened and then it derailed them for another 6 episodes, and it's like, couldn't this have gotten done maybe in 6 then?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
take the time that you need. The Mandalorian worked as an 8 episode series. It didn't need to be 13, in their opinions. It didn't need to be 10. And you know what? As 8 episodes, I now crave more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's funny. I would have said it could have been a little bit longer.
Maybe 10.
A nice 10. I would have been good with that.
I thought it was going to be 10.
Yeah, I thought so too. Things actually like wrapped up and came together faster than I thought.
Yeah, but also, to be fair, it technically wasn't fast because they did something that Netflix doesn't do, which thank God. I never thought I'd be looking towards traditional television schedules more,
Yeah.
but they release them once a week instead of just dropping them all at once.
Yeah.
I don't know if you enjoyed that, Tristan.
No, I did because it gives you honestly for me it gave me something to look forward to.
Depressing, but accurate.
All right.
No, it just sounds. It just.
Acting like that, really?
I love you. It just no. I love you. It's just. It's not the words that were used. It's how it was said. I was like, oh, buddy.
Said that rather upbeatingly.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You should have been. You should have been dancing. We got to get some synth pop.
Face.
What was that about my face? My face is gorgeous.
Oh, you'll find out.
Okay. Well, no, I could not hear it. Doesn't matter. I was talking over you. It's not gonna. Do you think I just hear stuff in post all the fucking time? No.
What?
If we're talking over each other, I can't hear you. What are you gonna do to my face, huh?
Mandalorian says hello.
I heard the Mandalorian says hello. What? What about him, huh? What? What's gonna happen, huh? I'll get the new Moff on you.
Okay.
Is this so? By the way, question about new Moff and other characters.
New mom. Chris.
Yeah, new Moff who did any characters in this, and I'm not talking about like aliens. I'm talking about like someone who said something or someone who was referenced or a certain piece of tech that was used that you're like that was actually used in issue number 77. Like anything like that was used in a Legends novel.
Kind of funny. It's kind of funny that you should mention that.
So is it the saber he uses at the end, or is it something else?
Uh,
You mean the dark saber?
uh,
Matt, how do you know about that? John told me. Cause
I,
I would
I was gonna be like, wait, hold up. How do you know about that?
exactly. Matt, what have you been doing research? No.
Maybe.
Um but John told me about it. Cause
Yeah.
cause I was ranting to him about this because I think you were at work or something, so I was like ranting to John. Who again usually comes on our Star Trek Thursday stuff, but like he obviously loves Star Wars too, so we're talking about it, and he's just again he's agreeing with me because I'm smart, and he's just like, yeah, no, dude, this show's amazing, and yada yada, and he then mentioned the dark saber, and I was like, what?
What now?
So I do want to know, like, is this something that's used by like the dark side of the Force? Is it something that because it's never been used in a film, right? Like Darth Vader used a normal lightsaber.
Yeah. No, it is not. It's not in films. Um,
Yeah.
and I love it because it is. It is basically a stamp of Dave Filoni, which all praise be to Filoni.
Okay. Oh, right. That is
Star
so
Wars.
he's a creator
Yes.
that has worked on Clone Wars,
Wars and Rebel
Rebels.
and Resistance.
Okay, I was gonna ask about Resistance. I was
Yeah.
like the new one. What about the new one? Um, but wait, so he usually works in the animated sector,
Yeah.
and he worked a little bit on this. You've told me, and he made a cameo as an X fighter,
Yeah.
right?
He's one of the X-wing pilots. I think it was episode 7 when the New Republic beacon goes off, and I audibly screamed when I saw him because I saw that and I'm just like, that crazy bastard. He finally did it. He
Was I
he
was
finally
I
found a way to cameo in his own Star Wars work.
I'm sure there's a version of him somewhere in Clone Wars, just in the background. Um, I'm curious though.
A voice here or there.
He might have, yeah, done a voice, but I'm curious. Am I wrong in calling them X fighters or?
Yes, he is. Oh, that's hilarious. He's one of the bounty hunters in Clone Wars.
Huh. But am I wrong in calling them X fighters or
Well, I
the people in the? I know they're X-wing pilots, but am I wrong in being like X fighters? Like I think of Z fighters immediately from Dragon Ball Z,
all I heard was Deadpool going X Force.
which is a real thing in the comics.
Yes.
Um, but anyway, yeah, so that was nice. So wait, so he brought that into canon with Clone Wars, or
Um.
and I say I'm sorry, into mainline canon.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I assume that's a later season that I have yet to get to.
Yeah. And it
Okay,
appeared. That weapon has appeared. I don't think it's appeared in Resistance, but it's been in Clone Wars, in Rebels, and now seeing it here, I I completely lost my shit.
and it's good too because I
Funny because I mean it's not funny, but it's good in the sense it makes sense though.
well, no, of course, and it's something that can get people confused in a good way because not only is he alive, but then he's carrying something that looks like a lightsaber but looks different. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of intrigue for a potential season 2, hopefully not movie. And I definitely am interested in seeing where that goes and where he goes and where all of this goes. Now, what I'm interested in though is looking at this new Moff. So he's someone that you've never seen or heard of before, Tristan.
As far as I know, no.
But question though, so I need your help here as someone who knows Star Wars because I think that some things were clear, but maybe I was misinterpreting or maybe I didn't get a strong grip on it because it's something on my end. But I feel like so the show what it was putting out was the empire is quote unquote no more, but there still is money flowing somewhere because just
Oh,
because you because just because you kill Palpatine and also there's no more Vader doesn't mean that they all go, all right, I guess we're not fascists and go home.
basically yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
in the same way that you can have neo-Nazis, I thought that that would be the first order, but arguably, I mean, there's time in between then, so even though they're still trying to set up a Congress and a Senate, and it seems like they already have some kind of inner workings going on because it was like, all right then, Mando, go report them. And I was like, Okay, so no.
Oh,
Like,
that was kind of hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah, just, if it bothers you that badly, go back to the core and report them to the New Republic. And just the Mandalorian looking down, being like, "That's a joke." It's like, oh, it hurts, but he's not wrong.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're if they're anything like they're anything like from 1, 2, and 3. Well, it's not really going to do as much as I would like. So yes, obviously. So that's the issue. Is that yes, the Empire is quote unquote no more, but they're still assholes. And the way the guy who was the leader of the guild, at least in that sector, in that planet, the way
Yes.
he worded it, he was like, hey, if the money runs dry, though, maybe some of them will stop doing this. Because apparently there still is dark money, dark credits going around that is lining their pockets. So either they have funders, maybe they're working with the Huts or something like that. I mean, obviously there's there now that even though they are not, so they're not in power, they're not the government, but now they're essentially a high, uh, kind of a high ranking mafia situation.
Yeah,
Right?
they're their own faction, basically running around the galaxy. I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, like the Emperor and Vader, his top enforcer, have been destroyed and overthrown. And granted, the Empire fractures without Palpatine being the head to lead everything that he made himself to be.
Right.
But there's going, like, in Legends, that was basically the whole idea of like the New Republic. The Rebel Alliance goes to establish themselves as the New Republic. We are the new legitimate government. Meanwhile, every other Imperial who did not either surrender or go into hiding is like, so I've got all these men, we've got all these blasters, we still have Star Destroyers. Let's take over the sector, and they just become warlords.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Warlords is the word I was looking for. Yeah.
And I really think that's the. I feel like that's the direction Gideon is going, or that's going to be his mantle.
I mean,
Uh,
that's where they are already, I would argue.
oh, basically, yeah.
Although I loved Werner Herzog. He was the guy who was the initial liaison before he was murdered by Gideon.
Yes, right.
And I loved it because like he's a huge German actor. He's done a lot of stuff in Germany. So like you hear his name and you're like Werner Herzog. I feel like I've heard that before, but I haven't really seen anything he's been in. But I just the way he articulates, like the kind of they
Oh,
needed great actors for this as well,
right.
not just great direction, which I think they got. Bryce Dallas Howard, if you remember, she was in some M Night Shyamalan films. She was Lady in the Water. She also was oh god, she was in Jurassic World.
Yes.
She was the mom. She directed, not the mom, but the aunt.
Yeah.
She Aunt Claire, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she directed the third episode.
Right. Right.
The third, well, it was the third one that they were on the planet, and then there was the one woman that could shoot that got everybody mad, but nobody was really mad. But everyone had to pretend to be mad because of YouTube dollars. But only like 5 people were mad, but like everybody was really mad. Do you remember that?
It's kind of hilarious. From the first half of that explanation, I understood which episode you were talking about.
And was it 3 or 4?
I'm pretty sure that was 4.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
When
Right.
they-
Yes, it was
when-
4. It was 4 because the beginning of the episode had the Baby Yoda meme where he pushed buttons and then the whole like
Yes.
music starts playing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Um,
Which, I'm sorry, Matt. The Baby Yoda meme? Do you mean, or would you, there are many?
You're right. You're right. There are a fair amount. I knew about Baby Yoda before I even got into this show, and I
Yes.
only knew he was 50 because a few other people were bringing it up. Like I did a little bit of digging, but not too much on that one. But what I love so much, and also I saw the punching scene
Oh god. Yeah.
because again, it was just by the way, I was wrong. I told you and a friend of ours, Rachel, in the car that it was Bill Hader. I was wrong. It's Jason Sudeikis, who was once. He wasn't Batman, although he might have been Batman animated.
Possibly Batman.
Well, no, because there's Jason Sudeikis was one of many animated Batman, I believe. Because I know that there was another guy who played Batman, who I'm trying to think of. He was really funny, deep voice. He was on. I think he was on Arrested Development. Anyway, when it comes to, by the way, the comedy. Speaking of comedy, was really good in this show as well. Like I think they had a really good balance. You know, like I don't think they did too much to destroy the levity of certain situations, but they also, and by the way, speaking of the levity, when you
Oh,
had certain violence, I also didn't think it went too far. It even could have been a little bit grittier, a little bit.
yeah. I mean, I love the first episode. Like, I feel like the grittiest you got was in the first episode.
Flamethrower.
Oh, okay, sorry. Second most gritty.
Oh wait, I thought that was the first episode. I forgot.
No, I think that's the second or third.
Okay,
Yeah,
what
when
was the grittiest one then?
he storms the complex and he just roasts a stormtrooper. I was like, holy shit.
Right, but what was the first one?
The first one when he walks into the bar and he's picking up the fish dude,
Oh right.
and the other guy starts like, hey, I was talking to you, you spilled my drink, and he stabs him with his vibroblade, and then the Quarren, the squid guy, he starts to make a run for it out the door. He
Yeah, he
just
closes the door on him.
and closes the door on him, effectively cutting him in half.
Oh, by the way, I love how looking at the show throughout, we can see him doing similar moves again. Like he has an actual repertoire. It's not just certain things like stitched together.
Yeah,
It's like no, that's what he does.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
this is how he fights. Like he has an actual fighting style that he utilizes.
exactly. And
And
that's a lot of Mandalorians. Like, yeah,
also we learn more about Mandalorian culture,
yeah.
where he was
I mean,
he is.
because I thought it was one of the best things they could make a series around, because
Mm,
they're well defined enough that you can kind of say the phrase Mandalorian to most people, and they'll be like, "Oh, you mean like like
Boba
Boba
Fett.
and stuff like." Yeah, they'll think of that immediately. But when you dive into it a bit more, like they have a very interesting, yeah, it's a very interesting culture that you can actually make a framework around, and you can actually explore more of it and bring more of it into canon too.
And I think it's again a great way to describe it, the way they did, because it's like again it's a religion. It's it's not a race of people. Um,
Yeah,
well, because I think that what happens a lot is, and it's not just a Star Wars thing; it's a real world thing too. People hear a certain phrase, like people hear like Muslim, and they
right.
have a certain idea in their head,
Yeah,
and it's like no, 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 no. Anyone can be Muslim.
right.
It's silly, and of course same, anyone can be Catholic, and anyone could be anyone could be Jewish as well. Anyone can be any religion. It's not necessarily tied to a specific region.
Right. Yeah.
A certain look of a certain person
Right.
as well. And so that's what I love so much about seeing this and having it be basically just be like, hey, I mean, and I mentioned Muslim first too, because quite literally he's basically wearing a hijab, and I'm not making a joke here, I'm being serious. Like he does not reveal himself
Yeah.
to anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like this idea of like, hey, this is a religion. No one, I do not remove this helmet in front of any living being, which is why I
Right.
love the robot later who was like, I am not living.
Not living. Yeah. Oh, IG-11.
Right, thank you. Every time I hear his name, I think of IGPX from Toonami.
Oh my god.
I just imagine him racing.
Oh,
Um,
I mean, he could.
I mean, he got on the speeder.
Yeah, right. He came racing in on that speeder bike real hot. That was fucking amazing.
If you touch the baby, I will have no choice but to murder you.
Murder you.
All
I
right, fine.
just open the hatch.
But
Oh
but
my.
no, I think, by the way, speaking of the supporting characters, I can't, like, everyone who I was supposed to love, I loved. Everyone who I was supposed to hate, I hate. But I don't think anyone was really like a bumbling buffoon. Like, in other words, nothing against Jar Jar, but like there was no character that was just meant to be Like, oh man, how am I even here? Waka waka, because it's like this is a bunch of bounty hunters. You would be dead.
Yeah,
The only one, arguably, was like in the first episode with that guy, but he also was someone who was meant to be captured, so that makes sense.
right.
But like, I don't know, like it seemed like even that kid, the snot nosed one, who was like in his
Oh,
like maybe like early 20s, he
yeah,
still had the wherewithal to kill her.
right. What do you
Uh,
expect, man? Like, I'm from Corellia. Like, come on, I'm
but
loaded.
yeah, so random stuff like that, I think I was like Tristan would love that.
Yeah,
No, no, no. But the reason why when I say that I liked what he did was while I hate that he killed her because I know her actress, she's actually from Agents of Shield and some other stuff. So I loved her actress and I wanted to see her throw down and murder some people. We also had Gina Carano's character doing that. So, but I thought, oh, she's gonna turn him against the Mandalorian. She's gonna escape. And he's like, wait, if you said that he's a bigger catch than you are, then why do I need you? And he shoots
right.
her, and I'm like, wow, he's like, even though I obviously don't like that he is doing this to either her or to the Mandalorian, and of course he took that woman hostage. I don't like these things, but what I do like is you actually made him competent. But of course you're up against the Mandalorian, so you're gonna
Oh,
die.
you're fucked.
You're fucked. But I like that he made him competent because I thought it was gonna be this like he was gonna go full Wesley.
Right. Yeah.
Like it was gonna, or not Wesley. He was gonna go. Oh, I can't think of the character right now, but just very much like, oh man, oh no, I let him get away. Oh shucks, oh golly gee, and it's just like, no, dude. It's like, yeah, you just said it yourself. You're smart. Why do I need you if I could get him?
Right.
And then he shoots her, and I was like, damn, was not expecting that.
Yeah.
It got me, and that's the thing. I think it's because the show got me. I did not always see where they were going, and I also thought at one point, and I know it's silly because his name is literally in the title of the show, but if it's with a title like The Mandalorian, not every season has to be about this Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So when he was laying there, I was like, this might be the end for him. And then
Yeah.
next season, like something like True Detective, we follow a different Mandalorian.
Right.
You didn't need to follow this dude every season. And as
Yeah.
far I know that you probably keep up with stuff more than I do. And now that we're at the end of this, we can talk about the whole thing. Were there any inklings that it was like, no, 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 he signed, the guy who was playing him was signed to a 5-year deal or something, so he has to be the Mandalorian every
I
time?
Nothing that I like came across or heard about.
And you follow this stuff very closely. That's why I want to make sure because we don't know. Like it could have been a I can't think of the name of the anthology type series. When you call something the Mandalorian, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of Mandalorian, not a lot, but
Not a
until the
lot. More than a handful.
until the end of this series, there were at least enough. And by the way, was it implied that those are the only Mandalorian left, or that those are the only Mandalorian on that world?
Just on that world.
So there probably are others out there. It's just
Oh,
that
okay.
it's a big galaxy.
Exactly. Yeah. And you get that sense once again, which is good.
And again, like I said earlier, much earlier, it's something that Lucas was unable to do with 1, 2, and 3 by himself. Everything became part of this smaller tapestry, not a greater tapestry. It became, well, how does C3PO exist? Well, I thought that, you could have just found him one day. Nope, Anakin made him. And I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, just literally name a character, Tristan, and, you could have Lucas tell you. So, funny story. They've known each other since high school. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes. Like, that's
I
how it felt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I
I
mean,
don't feel as strongly about that as you on that.
but no, we will. But I know, I remember we talked about this, and you were like, yeah, it does feel like it was made smaller with episode 1, with some of the things that just were convenient, very, very convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree, yeah, it was convenient, but
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not talking about Lucas of 4, 5, and 6 when he has people working with him. I'm talking about straight 1, 2, and 3 Lucas. It all became very, very convenient, and it made the galaxy a lot smaller until Clone Wars, and Clone Wars isn't Lucas, so
he had a little bit of say at the beginning, but it definitely evolved into its own.
and when did it get better, Tristan?
Wow.
I'm asking you because you tell me all the stuff like,
I
hey
know
man,
that.
you
Well,
know. I'm just
I
saying. You
mean,
tell me, hey man, first two seasons are good, but like, dude, I get
I
the
mean,
but dude so much, and it sounds like that's when he wasn't working on it as much.
I'm not entirely sure, but okay, sure.
Well, no, you said he worked on Clone Wars earlier, and then
Yeah,
every time I hear a oh man, dude, you talk about seasons 3 till later.
that's fair.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that George Lucas, like, he you could call him a visionary, but he did not put his vision on the table as well as I would have liked when it was just him for
yeah,
1, 2, and 3.
that's fair.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. So, he would not have done this show well, is what I'm getting at. There would have been a lot of racism, actually. With 1, 2, and 3, there would have been some very weird, alien racism. So back to the convenience thing. Again, I feel like this show made it seem like it's a huge galaxy. Like, yes, they use the words. Oh, word travels around in case they had to, CYA cover their asses in the off chance they needed to. But I don't think they even needed to say that much often because, like, my problem is so this is what I mean in this way, Tristan, right? So a Lucas interpretation versus what this interpretation was, in my opinion. It's my opinion. If Lucas was writing this, people would be like, you mean that Baby Yoda? And like everyone would know what the fuck's going on with Baby Yoda. And it's like, but there's a lot of shit going on. Like you could tell from this show alone, people got shit to do. People taking jobs, people going off world, people going hyper, they're going at hyper speed to different planets and different parts of the galaxy. Like, people have shit to do. Who cares about Baby Yoda, right? And of course, not its name. Who cares about Baby Yoda? The remnants of the Empire, and what?
No, no, I just love for me, that felt like a very nice delivery of you. I know that's not its name, and then continue right on calling Baby Yoda.
Well, because I feel like I mean we're almost 50 minutes into it. I'm sure there's some people that are gonna like already comment on it early on, but still. Um, but anyway, so who cares about the child?
Yeah.
Uh, the Empire, or the
But
remnants, of course, of the Empire, and the entire area that they are inhabiting and turning into an awful, awful place to live.
I mean,
No,
it was already an awful place to live.
it was only awful if you didn't know how to handle yourself, and if you were a bounty hunter there, you knew how to handle yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's even what, yeah, when he says about Navarro, it's like, well, now that all the scum and villainy has been wiped away, it can be, fucking,
A nice place, like he
yeah,
said it haphazardly. He was like, eh.
yes,
It was like a nice place. No, but what I mean is what I'm getting at though is
right,
that
Reef Karga, that's his Karga, yeah, 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 that's
thank you.
his for the character. It's
Um,
Carl Withers is the actor.
yes, great actor. He brought a lot to that role as well. Again, a lot of it really worked, and I'll get to that a little bit later too. Again, comparing it to Lucas, but right now, just talking about who Baby Yoda mattered to. Empire remnants, people on Navarro. That's it. Mando mattered because, of course, people could be like, "Ooh, I could get a bounty," and of course, Mando was with the child, so it mattered to them. But other than a few bounty hunters, and we didn't even see bounty hunters like even once every episode. We had them talked about, but it's not like they were there every single time. Because again, Mando had his own shit to deal with. Like that
Yeah,
one episode where he got back with his old pals that he put in prison because they tried to imprison him.
right, yeah, and he didn't kill any of them.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I really thought like with those cuts, like I thought they were all super dead.
Yeah, but no, I just feel like it was nice because none of them even knew about the child. Like again, like I'm not trying to shit. This isn't the shitting on George Lucas episode, but it's just that I feel like they would all like have turned on him immediately and been like, "Oh my god, that is the fabled child." And it's like, no, not everyone. People got shit to do, man.
Yeah.
Like, comparing it to a real world scenario, right? Like, not everybody follows politics. Like, you and I are very politically aware. Not going to talk about that right now, unless it matters in the context of the, of Star Wars. But it doesn't matter in this, I think. But still, like, we follow politics, but some people don't, because some people are, like, so busy, and you're very, very busy as well, so you don't follow it as much as I do. But, like, some people are so, so, so fucking busy that they're just like, look, I gotta, like, I got to move from one house to another. I got, these kids here. I'm getting into a divorce. Like, there's so much shit going on in their lives that they're like, I'm just trying to live. So they don't have the time to do research into certain things. So, like, especially looking at Star Wars, no Wi-Fi. Um,
Oh my god.
I'm being serious. There's like,
Well, there's a HoloNet.
it doesn't seem to be. They could send messages, but like, I haven't seen anything like, I don't see Mando giving Baby Yoda a tablet. Um,
Well, don't see Mando giving Baby Yoda a
I'm
tablet.
just saying, just watch Baby Shark.
Oh no.
Like, what I'm saying, like, they didn't do that. But I'm being serious though. Like,
In my
people.
day, we took the shifter knob off of the accelerator, and that's what we had to play with, and we were happy with it.
Oh my god. I'm just saying, like, people got shit to do, and in the Mandalorian, it's not. These are not, people in Congress, which is what we followed through 1, 2, and 3. These are not people that are embroiled in a huge war, which was 4, 5, and 6,
Mm.
and 7, 8, and 9. These
Granted,
are.
you could say Gina Carano's character technically was, but she's past those days.
That's what I'm saying. So she's out of that loop. But
Yeah.
but no, even yeah,
Trooper.
she's out of the loop. So that's what's very important though, is the random people that Mando is meeting. If they
Yeah.
are not a bounty hunter, then they're like, what are you gonna do for me? And what am I gonna do for you if necessary? And what am I gonna do to you if necessary? And what are you gonna do to me if necessary?
Yeah.
That's the world that he lived in, and I think that's something that it was. I was very happy in how they portrayed it. That
Yeah.
it wasn't like we've had so many. Sorry to interrupt you. We've had so many plots that are such a big deal, very much like Doctor Who, right? Everything becomes the galaxy, the universe, even sometimes planet Earth. Sometimes feels so big to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like it when one single town
True.
is at, could be destroyed, just the town, just the
Right.
doctor being killed, just his companions, right? It doesn't have to be the entire universe, because at this point it's been the entire universe so many times that sometimes I just need it to be that low key. And yes, of course, if the Empire got Baby Yoda, it would be a lot more high key. It
Yeah.
would not be as low key. But
I think even if like, well, I mean, hey, we're at that point. Like, oh well, no, he does get him back. So, but the idea is, I don't think it's going to go past like Gideon himself. Like, I think he is going to be
yes,
the main antagonist.
no, and it makes sense, I think, because of the fact that, at first I didn't know how high this went, but I really think that at a Moff level with, everyone else, like, just thinking about episode 4, right, with Tarkin,
Yes, exactly.
it
This guy
looks,
same kind of power peak that Tarkin was at.
well, I mean, also his literally his title is Grand Moff, like Grand Moff Tarkin.
Right.
Which it matters only because when I saw Tarkin with Vader and some of those other suits that were all sitting around them, they all seemed to be bureaucrats, like very much like politicians, rather than, oh, we're actually going to go out there on the front lines like a Vader. Now,
Right.
we never saw Moff in mainline go on the front line, but you, as someone who's read Extended and gone into that, Moff could have killed Luke.
Well, okay. I
I mean,
don't know that he could have gone one on one with Luke Skywalker, but
what about episode 4, Luke Skywalker?
oh,
That's what I'm saying.
oh no.
I'm not talking. No, episode 6, Luke is, forcing him out the cargo hull. But I'm talking about episode 4. If the
Yeah,
two of them had met, he would have lost a lot more than his hand, I believe, from what you've described to me as who Tarkin was.
yeah,
It's just that we saw him as older Peter Cushing, so we're like, grandpa, and it's like, no, 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 no. He's killed
no.
all of the grandpas. What was that?
Grandpa will break your neck.
Exactly.
He looks over at somebody. He's like, "Yeah, you think Vader's the only one who can do that? I can do that too."
Wait, so is he? So wait, if you, wait to be a Grand Moff, do you have to be a Force user?
No, no, no.
Oh, he breaks necks the old-fashioned way.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, yes, that's what I thought.
He
Um,
beats you into a bloody pulp at his feet and then rests his boots on your corpse.
now did Moff Tarkin have a dark saber?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
All right. Well, don't worry. Tomorrow he will. The newest edition of Moff has a dark saber. It's the newest 6-issue series by Marvel.
Oh god.
Um,
It's hilarious. Now I've got to like catch you up on Clone Wars so you understand the significance of that blade.
I'm assuming for some reason, if anyone's gonna have a dark saber in Clone Wars, it's going to be fucking Maul or someone working with Maul. If it's not, I'd be shocked.
Wow, you that's shit.
Well, who the fuck else is evil in later Clone Wars?
Close.
Palpy?
Well, that's the thing. It's that weapon is different than traditional lightsabers.
That I can tell.
Yeah.
It looked very much like 80s Japanese superhero stuff that I like. Like it literally looked like someone's hand blade or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, so
It is very connected to Mandalore itself.
okay. Right. And also something to mention as well. Speaking of Mandalore, we got his backstory. Something that I
Yeah,
did see coming. That was the one thing I think that was kind of obvious. Like just from some of the snippets, I was like, the only thing that I would imagine if he wasn't the kid and he was the dad or something weird like that.
yeah,
Like there was no twists and turns there. It was like, yeah, no, he was the kid in the shelter and he was saved by
yeah,
Mandalorian. Duh.
yeah. And I
So,
thought that was really interesting to bring in the idea that yeah, he was a child of the Clone Wars.
mm,
Like he grew up through that and then even saw maybe not, participated in, but saw the events of the Galactic Civil War as well.
and he trained heavily.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah. No, like
He's
yeah.
Batman.
Or if you become a Mandalorian, like you are fucking battle hardened. Like yeah, they are some of the best. When they joke in episode 7, when the other guys joke, it's like, oh yeah, you're a Mandalorian. Aren't you supposed to be some kind of combat, expert specialist? And then he demolishes the police droids. It's like,
Right.
yeah, that's not just talk. There are reasons why. Queel
Yeah.
talks about like, yeah, I've never met a Mandalorian before, but I have read the stories, and if they are true, then you will make short work of this and bring peace back to my valley.
By the way, Nick Nolte voiced him over.
Yeah. Oh, he did such a good job as him.
He really did. I was confused. I thought he didn't die. He was just knocked out until
Oh yeah.
IGPX confirmed it, and I was very sad.
Oh yeah. No, that hit me. That hit me super hard.
And then when he buried him with the helmet, that's when I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But
And IG too, sacrificing himself. Like him saying the line, "It doesn't matter. I was never living to begin with." I'm like, no, you are alive.
oh no, what got me was when he was like, I'm not sad, and he's like, I'm an asteroid. I could literally tell that you're sad. And I was like, oh no, buddy.
Yeah.
That made me sad. Oh no, what made me sadder, the saddest part of all that was just him going, tell me that the child will be safe, because once you do, I can then default to my, essentially my primary directive. And I'm like, no, the child won't be safe. Stay here.
I mean, he tried. He
Oh,
basically tried that.
I know that like they were saying the whole place was like steel around it or something, but when he exploded, I was like, collapse? Question mark.
Yeah.
And then nothing did, and I was like, right, because I'm pretty sure they acknowledged it's all steel around that.
Well, it was. I don't know if it was steel necessarily, but I think the volcanic rock around it was stable enough that it wouldn't seal them in.
Right.
And it's. I was a little confused by that at first too because I don't know what the explosive in an IG unit is, like if it's just a thermal detonator or whether it's supposed to be something more powerful.
I mean, it killed them hard. They were seared.
Oh yeah, they were super dead. Like even the troopers when they realized, like you just see the one lowering the rifle, like oh fuck.
Yeah,
They all knew they were dead.
pretty damn dead.
Speaking of
Um,
damn dead, we had a lot of those in this series. Another one was the Smith when the one who was working in the Enclave, forging him the armor. She was so cool too.
Wait, did she did not die as far as I could tell.
Oh, like when those other troopers come in and she's just sitting with her tools in her arms,
Yes.
and she just goes to town.
I mean, she's also battle hardened. Like, fuck,
Oh
give me a season 2 with her.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Um,
oh, she's coming back.
yeah, so, and again, speaking of the violence overall, look, I'm not someone that has a problem with violence. Like, I play violent video games. I see horror movies all the time. I've seen some gruesome stuff via horror movies when I was younger, and now even. Even though now I wince a bit more than I did when I was like a teenager, still, like, I can take it. The
Yeah.
problem is that I feel like Netflix's Marvel shows, I keep on flipping the ownership around.
Mhm.
Those shows were just too much, I think. Like they felt like, oh, because we could do this, it felt like we had to.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, like does it call for it? And I think that's what the biggest question, where does the show call for it? Now, I'm not saying that certain aspects of Daredevil didn't, because they definitely did. It's meant to be a bit more grittier, but there was something in Defenders where literally, and it was meant to show, I think, that the person that was, a Japanese assassin, he could kill them all, which was, the whole point. But he was talking to a character, a brilliant actress. I don't want to spoil it and give it away for people who haven't seen it yet, but she's not a character in the Marvel comics, and so the actress and the character, and so she came in to play this role, and she was talking to this guy, and she was speaking in English, he was speaking in Japanese, and they both like kind of understood each other ish. So you saw the subtitles for him. He was actually dissecting a bear that he had hunted with his, no joke, bare hands. So no, literally. So he's like, yeah, no, I killed this bear with my literally own two hands, and he's removing the guts from the bear
Yeah.
as the whole scene is playing out. Now it shows, oh my god, this dude is insane. Like this dude has like no fear. Cero miedo. Like he's hard as steel. He's gonna kill these fucking superheroes or these heroes because, well, no, some of them had superpowers. But and I get it. I get it. Okay, he's hardened. But why did we need to show bare entrails randomly with no warning? Like if I'm watching a horror movie, if I'm watching Nightmare on Elm Street, I know who Freddy's gonna cut up somebody.
Right.
If I see Jason, if I see Friday 13th, I'm like, he's probably going to behead one of those teenagers, at least one. And when it comes to Halloween, I'm like, oh no, the babysitters are gonna die, right? Like what you're getting into. But when I see a show like this, or when I see a Marvel superhero show, and especially one on Netflix or in this case on Disney Plus, I want more. Right, I do want some more, and I think The Mandalorian delivered it, but it didn't go into this area where it's like, yeah, look at how cool the blood spilled out,
Right.
Because I feel like that gets into this area where it's like, all right, not only is it a bit too edgy, it's something that I don't feel was I mean, I'm sure someone's gonna make a joke or yell and be like, "Hey, come on, man! There were warnings, like there were TV whatever ratings." But sometimes those can be very mild, despite the fact that you'll see a rating on a Daredevil episode. You're like, "Yeah, but is it really gonna get that bad?" And then you see that it did. You're like, "Oh, fuck." But yeah, that's my kind of issue comparing those to these, where I feel like so far this show did a very great job of showing like, yeah, these are seedy bounty hunters, but nothing that went into edgy territory, like edgy fanfic, like, and then like he stabbed him in the chest, and then he pulled his heart out.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nothing like grim or try hard, if you will.
Yeah. There were moments where
Brutal.
escalates a little, like a bit, but
Yeah.
they're Yeah, I never felt like I had to. I never really winced at any, other than the first one where the door cuts the dude in half. I'm like, ooh, but it was more like a holy shit, he means business.
Also, it just started, so it's like, oh damn.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't expect that. Like, I
Right.
expected that when I saw the devil later, the new guy, the muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, I love that he was a devil because he hit him with the flamethrower and he was like, "Yeah, no, like I'm basically like a demon."
Yeah. They are. I think the species is called. They're Davronians. But
See,
yeah.
this is why I need you.
Yeah. But yeah. It's funny. He hit him with the flamethrower, and like that's always his go-to for like when it's like I need to stop something.
It's a
And
bit too much.
it only well, I mean, it only hasn't worked like twice.
No, but I'm saying that's when he's like, "All right, it's a bit too much. I got to hit him with a flamethrower."
Yeah, right. I need a deterrent. Like the Mudhorn, it did nothing to. That guy, it did nothing to. I mean, granted, it would have burnt Kara, but she was able to be like, nope, not letting you use that.
Yeah. Um speaking of some of his older like his older teammates, Z, I believe was her name. Right? His ex-girlfriend?
Oh, the Twi'lek, yeah.
I don't know her. Well, wait, is she the same race that we've seen previously, like at Jabba's palace?
Yes, with the twin tails.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Twi'lek. Yes.
I didn't know that. So, all right. So we've seen her before.
I'm trying to find
Not
her.
her personally, of course, but we've
Yeah.
seen someone of her planet. I assume they have a planet, or am I wrong?
Yeah, Twi'leks are
Oh,
usually.
wait. No, wasn't that planet like? Wasn't it destroyed or something, or am I wrong?
No, they originate from Ryloth. Ryloth
Okay.
destroyed.
Alrighty then. But yeah, so we've seen her people before.
Xian?
You know what's so funny? I was talking to a friend of ours, and she did not like her character because she said, "Oh, this is a character that we've seen before, and it just feels like something it's not new territory." And I'm like, "Oh no, we have seen this character before, and I like it every time."
Right.
She's not new. It's just something that I'm like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
By the way, something that's also interesting as well. Not only was she in Harry Potter, she was also in an episode of Black Mirror where she played someone who was murderous and also suicidal, and she killed the guy.
Right. Oh,
It
right.
was
I
it was
remember.
Black Mirror White Christmas. We also reviewed that for the podcast, which is really funny. So like I lost my shit
Yeah.
only because I was like I heard her voice and I was like, wow, like have I heard her in anything before?
Yeah.
And I was like, I have. Oh my god.
Oh, also speaking of cameos, another one that I didn't actually realize because I haven't seen his face so much. So
Mm.
that New Republic pilot that was like, they were like, hey, there weren't supposed to be any people on this ship.
Right, right.
That was Matt Lanter. And guess who he voiced?
Who?
Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars.
My brain's breaking.
Yeah. And like
Tristan,
I
you're
didn't
breaking my heart.
oh my god.
I no, it's just the fact that I hate you. No, it's the fact that
Well, okay, not that's Hayden Christensen.
I know. Although I'm sure they've asked him to do those lines at cons.
Oh god, yeah.
Someone had to have asked him to do those lines at cons.
Yeah. But
But
Clone Wars Anakin is the good character.
no, but anyway, I only bring this up though. Hey, he's coming back for the new season, right? Whenever that drops, what in February?
Oh yeah, yeah, that drops in February. So that I mean, yeah, it should have I'm hoping it's already done by now, but
But I'm saying he's coming back. He's voicing
oh, yeah,
Anakin again.
yeah, no, he's definitely picking up that mantle again.
Right. Anyway, so but no, that's nice. That reminds me of the cameo in Solo where we heard Stephen Blum
Yeah, right.
voice over a stormtrooper when he's voiced over, from what you've told me, countless stormtroopers in different in different cartoons or different video games.
Well, yeah, I heard him in Empire at War,
Yes,
for the
and
games I
it's
played on
and
the
it's
channel too.
right, and it's funny for me though because of course we both know him from anime roles as well. So like I heard him and I was like, "Is that Stephen Bloom or Stephen Blum?" And you were like, "That would make sense."
Yeah.
You pulled glasses out of your fucking pocket. I was like, "You don't wear glasses." You were like, "This would make sense because my calculations say that this woman is very upset that Darth Maul's alive." We told that story on the podcast. That was so funny. So definitely check that one out. That was a funny one. But anyway, so yeah, I obviously, as you guys can tell, I did not hate this. Again, this is one of those things where maybe it's just because it's a new media, maybe it's because it's a shiny new thing. But I think that we're not ending this here. There's still more to talk about. But I feel like there's just so much good with this, only due to the not only, but definitely, I would argue. I'll be honest, it's due to the fact that it's Star Wars moving to a new medium, which is live action television,
Yeah.
but also making sure to get the right people behind it.
Yeah, because there are so many good names like behind, like directors and writers. Like,
Isn't Favre also heading this as well? Or Favreau?
yes, he's actually multiple things. He directs, he writes, uh he's the executive producer and showrunner as well.
Yeah, normally I'd say stretch a little bit too thin, but you know what? Hey, I mean, he's because he's also doing Marvel movies
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So normally I'd say that, but you know what? 8 episodes, and he's not obviously the like he's obviously overseeing, but he's not like writing every single thing.
yeah.
Um,
No.
so no, he has other people. Again, Bryce Dallas Howard directed the fourth episode.
Yes,
Um, by the way, I also we've yet to talk about Gina Carano's character. Hot damn,
I was trying to
I
hold it back a bit because I figured there would be a point where we finally got to this
well
point.
no. You had the sentence going, and it would have sounded natural, and then you paused,
I shut up,
and then you paused.
shut up,
Don't worry, the
shut up.
fandom is what.
Fuck you.
Anyway, roll that back, everybody. But what matters is that she's amazing.
Yes,
I know I've seen her in other things before. Oh, Deadpool.
yes,
Right, she was in the first Deadpool film. She's been in other stuff as well, but that's where I was like, "Oh, damn, she can destroy Deadpool and everyone."
yeah.
And then I realized she was former MMA, which makes sense. And it seems as and also by the way, she dated Henry Cavill, so she can beat up Superman. And so it's also interesting to see her here as well because I think she plays this mercenary type character very well. Some people say that she's, typecast. Oh, I've seen her like this before, but the question is, does she do the role well?
Oh,
And
yeah,
she did.
definitely.
Definitely. So,
I honestly love their first. Actually, probably her first episode, episode 4, Sanctuary.
oh my god, the baby Yoda just watching. I saw that meme to
Oh,
shit.
yes. Oh my god.
I was
Because
wondering.
like the Mandalorian's like, huh, you definitely stick out on this planet, and he's asking like the waitress at the restaurant, like, what's her story, what's she doing here, blah blah blah. And then she immediately slips out after he asks those questions, and he's like, ah, shit. And he goes outside to try and, like figure out who she is. And she's like, huh, I mean, I came at you pretty hard because I figure you were, a bounty hunter coming after me. And he's like, yeah, I get that. But they literally just, like, full on fist fight before even saying hello. And literally the fight between the two of them ends just both drawing on each other, both arm locked on the ground. And then, yeah, Baby Yoda is like sipping his bone broth soup, and he's just like, "Are you guys playing nice?"
Also, by the way, I love how Mando does not know how to react on a planet of people who are actually nice.
Yes.
Because he's like, "Oh, what if I give you something for your troubles?" And she's like, "It has been troubling here. Thank you, sir." And he's like, "What? No, you were supposed to give me information." I gave you these credits for information, and you just took them away and said you'll give me extra food that I don't. What the fuck?
Yeah. Or even when he's at the village too, um, and the one woman is just helping him settle in, and her daughter starts to like walk past, and he's like, "Who the fuck is in the doorway?" Like, no,
Yes.
no, it's okay. It's just my daughter.
Oh, so was it just me, or did you think that the widow that
Yeah.
Gina Carano's character was this close to say banging? You should bang that young widow. This close. So that young widow. At what point did you think that she was going to turn on Mando?
Huh. That's an interesting point.
Because I thought when someone had the sniper up, I thought she was going to pull the helmet and was kind of looking off to the side, like, all right, I did
Oh,
this for our safety. Sorry.
yeah, you're right. That would have. Huh.
But then it didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like that's kind of a weird thing for me, like for her character, because obviously she's seen some fighting. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, no, it would not make sense for her. Well, because here's the thing. For her character, the way it was presented, you are correct, it would not make sense. But also, if she's a lying, terrible person, then obviously that's not her character at all.
Yeah, right.
Also, to some people, it'd be like, that's how she knows how to shoot. She couldn't just want to defend things, she could be working with the Empire.
Right, which is fair. But I mean, it could also be the opposite too. I mean, she could have, she could have been ex-rebellion as well too.
Exactly. But no, I was just
There
worried.
would be more to her character, and maybe there will be in the future, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's also not something that I guess must be pursued. Like, I need to know.
No, no, no. I was just confused because I was worried that they were going to go for the Mandalorian's life is a life of sadness all the time. And
Yeah.
arguably, they were already going with that because, he was leaving the town and maybe he could have spent
Oh
his
yeah,
life with her, but he must protect the child. So, arguably, you could say that is, like, it would have been too much.
yeah. But I mean, I feel like he kind of stated it best too. Like, he even says like, she, asked, "Don't you think it would be a nice life here?" And he's like, "It would, but that's not who he is." I think it would take him a very, very long time to adjust to that kind of life.
Oh, of course. He'd kill at least one of those kids.
Oh my god.
I mean, he didn't mean to. I'm just saying he would have.
Yeah.
It ain't. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying he was real close. Like he was a bit too close for comfort. Um,
Oh, and how he even goes like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, can I play with him?" And he's like, "I guess." And then they start walking out the door. He's like, "Wait a minute, you're going outside. You were leaving this parental unit's
I
area
love. I
vision."
By the way, I love that Mando's like, I must take care of this child. Leaves the child for hours on end. And look, I understand that he's on planets where you can't like, get like one of those baby carriers that straps to your chest or anything.
Yeah,
But it's really funny that he's like, I must take care of the boy. Leaves
yeah.
the boy unattended.
But well, that's like why the mechanic on Tatooine.
Yes.
You can't just leave a baby on a ship all alone by himself. What the hell's the matter with you? You got a lot to learn about, raising a young
Wait,
one.
hold on. I don't believe they were on Tatooine.
No, they were definitely on Tatooine.
Mm,
That
uh,
was they even say it.
okay, no, because there was one time earlier I thought they were on Tatooine. That's what I get thrown off with.
Yeah, no. Yeah, episode 5, the gunslinger. When
Even before that, though, I thought they were on Tatooine, but they weren't.
no, they were not.
No, but that one they were.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. I knew one of them they were and one of them they weren't, so I was like, hold on a second there, partner.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure. Okay, yeah, so they were on Tatooine for that one.
Yeah, because that's when they're going across the dunes. They run into the Sand People, the Tusken Raiders.
Yes, thank you.
That was a nice cameo too. That's the other thing. Another point I wanted to bring up earlier about this series. It's not trying to shoehorn or force references to be like, hey, look, it's Star Wars, remember? Here's the reference. Here's the thing that you love.
Exactly.
Always loved, right? We're going to put more of the things that you've always loved in your face. And it's like, okay, on one hand, I do, at times, I like that. But when you do it a lot and too much of it, it becomes you're not telling a story anymore. You're just trying to shove references in my face.
And some said, and again, I haven't seen it, and you haven't said this, by the way, but some said that's kind of what episode 9 felt like. It felt like references or certain types of storytelling that felt
Yeah.
more fan oriented rather than actually just trying to make one that could kind of juggle both
Yeah. And
or do one better than the other.
that's fair. Yeah, I get where people are coming from that sense.
But I agree with you 100%. And that, again, that's something that
And
really
it's
worked
little
well.
things that you see in the universe that are familiar to you, but it is a new setting.
So, like,
Like,
look at Tatooine, right? Look at Tatooine.
right,
Was it a new setting? Well, no, it's Tatooine. We could tell that it's Tatooine.
right.
Did we see Tusken Raiders? Well, yes, we're on fucking Tatooine.
Yeah,
But did we see fucking Uncle Owen or something at a bar? No.
right.
Why the
Exactly.
fuck would we see Uncle Owen? And
Yeah.
that's where I get into a problem where I keep on mentioning over and over and over again. I'm a broken record, I know. The Lucas thing, where Lucas would be like, "What if Uncle Owen said, 'Hey, you remind me of my nephew,' and then he left?" What? No.
Mm,
Why? Why would we? Well, come on, it's nice. No, we don't. You don't need to meet Uncle Owen. I'm
yeah.
sure he's doing just fine. I hope he's doing well. No one needs to buy parts. No one needs to go to that little area. Nobody lives there that's relevant anymore
Yeah.
to this plot. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to connect this to make this larger universe much smaller, where it's like, hey, I know this guy who knows this guy who knows that guy. Doesn't matter. Let's keep the story going. Now, it was funny, though, that little asshole was sitting in Han's seat.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I laughed my ass off.
I wonder if that's the same cantina. It looks like it.
No, it is. It's under new management, but it is. I
Yeah.
mean, management usually gets killed, but it is.
Well, yeah.
No, it has to be. It's the same set,
Yeah.
even the
Yeah.
same camera shot.
Right.
Like they did that. Like that was
Oh,
the
that.
hardest homage, I think.
Yeah. Um. Oh, well, even in this same episode too, a high ground reference, and it's
Yes.
hilarious that they
So
were.
that was a bit more in your face, I'll admit.
Yeah, that's a little more in your face, but it didn't upset the dialogue in that point at all because tactically she's a sniper. She's up on a ridge. The two of them have to cross a lot of desert to get to her. Mando saying, "No, she has the high ground. She's not going to move anywhere. She's going to wait for us to make the first move." All the dialogue still fit, and you still got to make the joke reference. Like, that's good writing.
Yeah, and also again, it's something that like it became memed, so I understand some people might be like, "Come on, it's a meme." But no, it's actually something that is brought up in multiple Star Wars pieces of media as something that's not a dumb joke.
Yeah.
And that's what's very relevant.
Scenario that yes, it was not just a joke.
Yeah. So again, it could be funny to some people, but it's an actual real thing in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Like just because it got memed doesn't mean that. Sorry, say that again.
I was laughing so hard.
Yes. But yeah, no, but yeah, so again, there were some references, yes, but I don't think anything that like other than that one line that like really like was pushing it in your face. And I just loved being able to see people that even though they are like they're either their people, so looking at let's say the Mandalorian's culture and religion are part of the greater Star Wars movie universe. A saber of some type, not a lightsaber, but a saber of some type is part of the greater universe. We could see some other types of aliens and creatures that were like, hey, I've seen someone in your like from your planet,
Right. Yeah.
but no one, and I mean literally no one, was someone that appeared in 1 through 9.
Yeah.
and it just feels good. Like again, like it's such a huge galaxy, man.
Right.
You know?
Apparently, looking into it a little more because I wanted to look into his character. Gideon is
Yes.
mentioned, but in a novel,
Of course. That's what like again that's fine. I assumed as much.
and he's in a position of like high power within the Empire structure, so that would make sense that he's not just.
Some dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But something else that I want to mention as well, just keeping on with the whole, we're just focusing on these, these newer characters and everything. Like, while in a season 2, it would be nice to let's see, for him to meet maybe somehow the younger versions of Han and Chewie.
Right. Oh yeah.
I
Huh.
mean, obviously, it's after 4, 5, and 6. But I mean, what, you can't get Harrison Ford back, so
Yeah.
if you're getting a younger version of Han,
Well,
I feel like
yeah.
you just get him.
This is taking place after Return of the Jedi. So
Yeah, but still, I mean, if you're gonna get someone to play young Han, let's pretend
right.
you're probably gonna pick that guy again. He wasn't awful as young Han, I feel, towards
No.
the end.
Yeah.
But no, but what I'm getting at though, Tristan, is that like even though that would be nice in like I'm okay if they delve into that in the future, but you just needed a plain old season that did not include anyone who is not or who is in episodes 1 through 9,
Yeah.
and it's good. Even the Clone Wars, nothing, just you're not gonna have a, although they did make fun of, oh my god, what if he's a Gungan.
Yeah. What if he's a Gungan
And I
under
was
there?
like, oh my god, they're
That
doing
was
this right now.
Yeah. That was another beautiful thing about this series. Like
Also,
they
Life Day,
dropped like oh,
I laughed my ass off. I was like,
oh
oh
yeah,
no,
bring
fucking
that
Life Day. I'm sorry I had to bring that up.
up.
It's
Oh,
they
God.
brought it up.
I know. Still doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, Life Day does apparently. Um, so yeah, no. So I appreciate again the little stuff that you could laugh at, but it's all quote unquote new, and that's what felt good about this whole thing for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's all quote unquote new.
I think one of the funniest things for me was literally when he when he teamed up with IG-11.
Right. In the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, in the first episode when they take after they've destroyed the encampment. Oh no, even before when he's like, my mandate, makes it that I cannot be captured. I must self-destruct if we, make our way out of this. And he's like, wait, self-destruct? Wait, no! Stop it! We're gonna shoot our way out of here. Now keep your cool and help me.
Also,
He's like, all right, now all we got to do is get the door open. And they literally they're standing there, and they both look over at the E-Web turret at the same time, and then the door just falls in. I'm like, yes, that was beautiful.
and even the end of that first episode, like it was enough. Again, it was enough to make you go, oh my god, what's next, but not enough to make me feel like, I don't know, like overwhelmed, like, oh my god, it's such a big thing. Like it was just like him, like I heard Mando in his head just kind of saying out loud, fuck. No, because like it was such an interesting, situation. You already get it shown to you that, like, it's already shown that, like, all right, this guy is clear. Well, not first episode, but like that episode, it clearly shows you, like, all right, this is a guy who normally his morals are about the money. That's the world he lives in. Money
Well,
is,
yeah,
credits,
yes. I mean, I would say that his world is more revolved around his own survival.
which involves credits.
Fair.
So,
Guy's
but
got
yeah, but he sees a baby and he's like, they didn't tell me to necessarily kill it. I could bring it back alive, but
right.
like,
Going to.
but even then, like,
Oh yeah. Well, once he knows, it's like I'm handing over a child to ex Imperials. Even I don't feel good about this.
and you can even, and what I love so much about this show is, and it's also very much the actor who plays the Mandalorian. Not sure if he played him in the suit as well, but
Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
thank you. He's such a great actor
Oh
because, and
yeah.
I don't know if someone else played
No,
him in the suit. But what
Actually, look.
Yeah, look that up, because what matters is that it was so well done that you can tell this internal struggle and this conflict and the way that the scenes were set up. So again, also shout outs to the directors who directed all this, because you could just tell there is this inner conflict with this character despite the fact that you could never see his face.
Yeah.
That takes a lot to be able to make that work. So, again, you could say that I'm maybe building this up too much, but it's just good. Like, I don't know it's great. Like, I don't know what I can say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Which I think, obviously he didn't do his own stunts, but
I don't know. We may have. I don't.
no, I'm pretty sure they got.
Listed as.
If he did his own stunts, bless him, because that usually does not happen. Oh, so one small little thing, and it's something that I've talked about with episode 8 when we did it. So it's not like I don't know. Maybe it is bigger. It depends on how I'm feeling, really. So we looked at when the Moth appeared, Gideon, which I can never not laugh at the name Gideon because I think of Gideon from Gravity Falls.
Oh my god.
So anyway, Gideon, right? I feel weird with the way 4, 5, and 6. What was that?
No, sorry. I'm looking into this as you're going.
Okay. With the way 4, 5, and 6 worked, when you saw the Empire, right? It wasn't just, hey, no aliens, only humanoid people. But it was a lot of old British white guys. And I feel like in doing that, they were very much laying it out. And some people disagree, but, and saying like, oh, no, it wasn't that on the table. But I feel like it was very on the table that it was the French resistance versus Nazi Germany. Right? Like, these bad guys are clearly Nazis. They're called stormtroopers, for fuck's sakes, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is all very relevant because in looking at it from that lens, it made sense in a way that they were all old British white guys. And then when we see Werner Herzog's character, he's like, Navarro is basically what is it? It is a space version of Argentina. And it's like, it's like all the Nazis just went holed up in space Argentina.
Oh jeez.
Once they had to leave and Hitler died, right? So that's basically how I see it.
Oh, yeah,
Before the neo-Nazis come in as the First Order and fuck things up even further, right? So I bring this up to you, Tristan, because it felt weird in episode 8 with the First Order, and it feels weird with Moff now, where we see they're still humanoid, but they're of many different races.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's weird.
And there have been other characters introduced in the Empire that are of other ethnicity, yeah.
No, but not in mainline movies until 7, 8, and 9. Well, actually, I haven't seen 9, so I don't know. But what I mean is 4, 5, and 6, all of the Empire that I saw were older white dudes.
Yeah.
Who were British. James Earl Jones, obviously African American, but once we took that helmet off, Luke was white. Because his dad was white. No, I was like, is Luke half black as a kid? I'm being serious. Because I know that James Earl Jones is black because I know that he voiced Mustafa as a kid. Yeah. I knew this. So I'm like, is Luke half black? And then they removed the helmet, and I was like, I was a kid, but I could still feel like I said bullshit.
Right.
I was like, what? Because I knew who James Earl Jones was, even as a young kid.
Oh, okay. So it looks like, sorry to interrupt.
I don't know where this is going, so I can't wait.
No, Brendan Wayne is apparently the stuntman for the Mandalorian.
Okay, but I don't know if that means that he walks in the suit all the time or just during the stunts.
I think just the stunts. Or okay. It depends on the episode.
That's fair. Anyway. Yeah. So I only bring this up because from 4, 5, and 6, it seemed like Empire, only those types of people. Why? Because again, they're trying to convey this like Nazi Germany. We're not these rebel scum.
Right.
Literally, look at all them. They're scum. They're dirty. Yada yada. Right.
In the Star Wars universe, it's basically, it's more the idea of xenophobia, where it's like anyone who's, alien, anyone who's not human is not well.
Humanoid, yeah, whatever the term I don't know what term they use.
Yeah, no, definitely like human, because there are
They say
other,
that in canon.
yeah, because there are
Oh,
plenty of humanoid, like Twi'leks are humanoid, Wookiees can be considered humanoid. There are a lot of species in the galaxy that are humanoid, but they're not human. The Empire is very much human centric.
oh, okay. And that's expanded because that's the thing. From movies, I got 4, 5, and 6 a certain type of look, and then 7 and 8, even though it's not the Empire, but 7 and 8 they kind of went in this direction of it's like no, like see, like we're multicultural fascists, and I was like what?
What? Yeah,
Because they had like some Asian people working like some of the buttons that were trying to like kill the rebels, and I was like what? I was confused. And then looking at the guy who plays Gideon, I was a little because he was still British, so they were still trying what they were trying to go for, I think. But it was the first time I've ever on screen seen someone who was not an old white dude in a higher up in the Empire, even though it's the remnants of.
right. And
So
that's
yeah,
fair.
no, I'm just saying that like I feel like it's against the original vision, but it still is. I mean, they're still fascists, irregardless.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I feel like it sort of goes against the original vision. I mean, I like I said earlier, it's probably more nitpicking than anything. But it's still something I like to bring up because, I want to make sure people remember, hey, Star Wars was always political, very much like Star Trek.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Um, but anything else you want to mention before we wrap this one up?
Oh God, I mean, I could, I could literally make this
Oh
enough
no.
all night.
Oh no.
But it would just be like picking apart the really cool moments. I really loved how they made the Empire threatening here too, and just the fact that even like the simplest thing too, like when they bring out the E-web turret when they're
Mm.
holed up in the bar, they're like, he's like Gideon was like, yeah, I can demolish this entire building with you inside it, and then pick your bodies out of the wreckage after I'm done.
But that will be harder for me, so I will not do that unless
Right.
you make me have to do that.
And then
And
they pick them off, and it's like, all right, burn them out. Oh yeah, the purge trooper was horrifying.
yeah, I loved the idea of, I am doing this because it is beneficial to me. Very Empire.
Yeah,
And I appreciate that. Because, again, it's very interesting to see, even though, like, again, the Empire is no more, those vibes are still there with them because they're just complete and utter assholes.
yeah. Oh, and the that conversation between those two dudes on the speeder bikes, and just
Yes.
in a way, kind of humanizing the Empire a little bit more, but in the fact of being like, no, they're still terrible people most of the time.
Well, no, that's the thing. Humanizing could just mean quite literally you are human, not you are better.
Right.
Like
Exactly. Yeah.
no one should like you.
Right.
Well, because you know what it is? It shows you. Same thing with like Finn, even.
Right.
Right? Some of these people are brainwashed,
Yeah.
quite literally.
Right.
So it's one of those things where not everyone working with them at that lower level
Right.
is
Exactly.
Moff.
Yeah.
When you get that high, Gideon or Tarkin, when you get that high up,
You
yes,
are.
you
You're doing
are.
it for you. Yeah.
Yes, this has nothing to do with like, oh my god, you don't understand. It's like, no, 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 we understand, you piece of shit.
For our empire. No, you're fucking not.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I mean, dude, look at this point. At this point, no one's doing this for the Empire.
Right.
They
Well,
just
I mean,
they hate people.
yeah. I mean, Herzog's character kind of goes in that direction because how he says to the Mandalorian, like, why did Mandalore, resist our expansion? Everything the Empire touched becomes better. It's
Nah,
like,
but
for
it's
you, maybe, not
that's
for,
that's the issue. Again, that's what it's going for. It's like everything we touch is better. It's like no, no, no. But if we, we say Mandalore here, if we don't always adhere to your demands, all of a sudden now,
right. Exactly.
in an instant, hell, Alderaan,
Yeah.
seemed like a pretty nice place,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but they had to make a point, and they
Right.
made it.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap this one? I'll say this until the sun explodes.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I guess one last tidbit because I'll
Mm,
make this my last one because I really did enjoy that episode, and I feel
right.
like people are like, I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
really.
What is your favorite episode?
Um, I mean, it's really hard to pick, but I mean, episode 4 really does just stick out in my mind. Sanctuary when he goes, Sorgan, when the forested planet, when they're protecting the farmers.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm just a sucker for the Seventh Samurai reference.
Yes. No. Yeah. And I think even though that I want to say that one too, I think I'll just be basic and I'll say the finale.
Yeah,
If not the finale, the first one.
that's fair. Yeah, I think most people would agree with that too.
Oh, I
Uh,
love how many nerds they got. Like I'm surprised. What's his name? Oh my god, how am I forgetting his name? Um, oh no, oh no, I know his name. Crap.
oh, what?
Well, no, no, no. One of the nerds who I say that affectionately. He's an actor. He's a comedian. Brian Posehn. He was the guy that died who was actually guiding them on the speeder in the first episode. When he's like, "You gotta
Oh,
watch out for the ice,"
right.
and
Yes.
then he died, and it was like, "Start up the."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lower the ramp. Lower the ramp.
I was looking for though. I'm surprised Patton Oswalt did not appear in this. Honestly,
Right.
Patton Oswalt, he's been in a lot. I'm sure you know his face. Let's see. He was in the new Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
voices the unicorn in Sci-Fi's Happy.
Oh, yeah. I saw.
Yes.
It's funny. I kind of wanted to check that out.
He
I think.
narrates the sitcom The Goldbergs.
Oh, right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
his voice, and it's not
Right.
the yeah. So, and he's been in a bunch of other stuff as well. When you see his face, you're like, oh, that's Patton Oswalt. I know who that is.
Right.
Anyway, he's a huge Star Wars fan. I'm shocked he was not in this.
I'm sure they'll get him eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Like, this feels like the series that they're like, hey, you want to be a part of Star Wars for an episode? Like, sign up on
I
the list.
mean, they
We'll
did
get.
it with Bill Burr, and I'm not a big fan of his comedy, but they did it with him because it's like, yeah, just get him in one episode. If we kill him, we kill him. If we don't, then all right.
Right. Yeah. As Mayfield. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was so shocked. Speaking of his old crew, Mandos, I did not know where in the fuck that was gonna go. Like, I was like, is he like, hey, you know what? I expected you to live, so fuck it. I mean, hey, as long as this guy's back, because I wanted him back, then we're good. I didn't know where they were going, and when he's like, take him out.
Yeah. No. He was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mando was the patsy.
Yeah.
He was always going to be the patsy in this, and the
Yeah.
fact that he showed that he was not going to be, they're like,
Right.
fuck it, let's just kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
We wanted him out, but it's so funny because even though Mando didn't kill them, still he somehow found a way to get rid of all of them, only bring one guy back, and then also got him killed.
Right. Lead the New Republic strike team back to their base. Just be like, all
Oh
right,
my god.
you fucked me for long enough. You're gonna get yours. Granted, I don't think they killed them. I think they just blew up the droid fighter that they were launching. I don't think they actually blew up the station.
I mean, we'll find out if it ever comes down to that for season 2.
Yeah, true.
All right. So anyway, thank you all
Oh,
so much.
yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
The one
have-
bit that I wanted to mention
We have
when
one more.
when Kara and Mando team up to defend the farm, when the ATST like gets up and powers up, and you just see the
Oh.
red lighting from the cockpit as it stands up, and Mando just screaming, "Run, run!" And it's like, yeah, that's like, it shows you the idea, and like that's just a 2-person scout tank, but it's still a tank. Like that's 2 foot soldiers going up against a tank.
And again, it's something that Star Wars, it's very hard for them to do, the scale, because of the fact that none of the heroes can be in any type of severe danger. So
Right.
obviously things are dangerous around them, but
Yeah.
you normally, unless it's like in the newer ones anyway, when I thought about it, well, when I saw it, like when they're flying, like in the Falcon or something else, you can
Right.
feel the scale, especially with how good the scenery looks. You can see like, oh my god, are they gonna crash? Yada yada. But when
Yeah.
it comes to fighting things one on one or in ship on ship or something like that, there isn't enough like. It's not troublesome or worrisome. Why? Because you know that Rey isn't going to die in episode 7. You know?
Yeah.
You know that Finn is not going to die in episode 8.
I
They're
mean,
trying
I was
to.
a little bit worried about Poe. Granted, he is the ace pilot that they
Well,
have. But
well, no,
like,
I was worried about him because I was like, he's dying so early in 7. That's odd because they had built so much marketing around him, and it was like, oh, of course he comes back, towards the end of 7, in the middle of 7,
right.
right? I thought he died in the first few minutes. I was like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
And
And
so anyway, and he
yeah.
didn't. So good. But no, I'm not saying you can't be worried about any of them, but they're trying to build them up as the Han, Luke, and Leia. So then Han, Luke, and Leia didn't die in 4 to 6. Now these three can't die. So it's just something that when you're watching a movie now, yes, you want to see all the adventures surrounding them, but there's always something nagging in the back of your head that that so and so can't die.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I thought Finn died in Episode 7 when they have the duel with Kylo and Rey.
Mm.
Stepped up first. I really thought Kylo killed him
It's been a while, so I forgot if I thought the same.
because he does the lightsaber strike like up and across his back, and he goes down. And
Well,
I'm like,
again,
oh
don't get me wrong. With seven, you were like, oh no, because these characters are all new.
yeah,
8 was a different story, and 9, I will admit, was a bit up in the air from what I've been hearing. Because I mean, it's the end of the trilogy. You never know what the fuck can happen.
yeah,
But what I'm getting at though, Tristan, is these characters being tied to these huge marketing campaigns.
they are the three main characters of that trilogy. So
Yes,
three heroes, like the band of three heroes that you're going to follow. So yes, I understand where you're coming from.
and also they all have powers in some way. Like not powers, but what I mean is that like Rey has the Force.
They are experts in what they do.
Yes. Now
Yeah.
Mando is of course an expert in what he does, and of course Carano's character is as well.
Right.
But they're still going up against Imperial tech. They don't. And by the way, another thing that I love too, people don't know about the Force. Thank the good fucking
Yeah.
Lord.
Yes, that was another good point. And Queel only he's like
I
I've never
vaguely heard about this.
vaguely heard. I don't know what it's called, but I vaguely heard about this before.
And also, Baby Yoda only helped them with the Force sparingly. It wasn't like it was a cosmic cheat code thing.
Yeah, he's the trump card in the very dire of situations. And I love the fact that even the guild leader, he's like, "Come on, baby, do the magic hand thing."
Yes.
It's like, oh, I'm all out of ideas.
By the way, episode 4, they still got through without him though.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's what I really appreciated. He can do the Force, but obviously he can't control it. So it's not like he's this Force demon.
Yeah, no, it's not like he's this, super powered character.
You need the main characters to get themselves out of it, and they did repeatedly, even though it was still required a lot of foresight, which obviously, yes, they did take it down, but they can't just shoot it in the right spot. Like a very Star Wars movie thing would be, hold on, this tree is made of metal. What does that mean? If I ricochet my shot off the tree, it'll hit it in the eye, and then it can't sense us. Like it's there's planning involved, but it very much can be settled down to, in some cases, lightsaber, blaster. I mean, if something's huge enough, obviously they'll have the X-wings surround it, like the huger models,
Yeah.
where you need to where you need to like kind of wrap their legs together. That I get. But what I'm saying is that like, Mando, it's like he's like, look, I do have some tech. Don't get me wrong. They take my credits and they make some cool shit, but I can't just fucking shoot one of these things in the face and call it a day.
I only have so much firepower at my disposal.
And that's what I loved about this show so much. Everything felt like when the stakes were high, they felt high. It did not feel like, well, but what about the Mandalorian cups and the Baby Yoda merchandise? Like, they didn't even, like, some people were getting upset, like, oh, there's no Baby Yoda merchandise. And I'm like, good. I
Yeah,
don't want to feel like this thing is so monetizable that we don't know whether or not this thing could be kidnapped or killed or,
right.
or dissected or something awful.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, yes, in your heart you assume that something horrible isn't going to happen to it. Maybe at worst it's going to get kidnapped and then
right.
he'll
Yeah,
get it back by season 2 at worst.
right. Like it is still Star Wars in the sense that basically 9 times out of 10 we do have the happy ending.
Right. But it's still good because it wasn't the happiest of endings because it's
Yeah,
not Star Wars movie
right.
necessarily.
Yeah.
And again, that's what I really appreciate. Like, there was no medal ceremony.
Yeah.
There's no, well, no, because it's like, it's a thankless job. Someone has to do it. You get your hands dirty. Like, you're not going to have Mando, like, standing in front of, like, a bunch of Congress, a bunch of the Senate. Oh, my God. Oh, you're
Yeah.
so amazing for what you did. You just
Your
killed.
reward is basically getting to live another day.
Exactly. You're
And that,
not going to get praised for, defeating Grand Moff Gideon. Like, as
yeah.
far as Congress, Senate's concerned, he's already dead. Even not when Mando did it, even before that. They're like, as far as we know, the Empire's gone, so they're either dead or in hiding. We don't care. We have to legislate shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the craziest part for me when he started calling everybody by name. I'm like, "Oh, what in the fuck? Who are you?"
Well, I mean, they still have the connections.
Yeah.
They still
Well,
have the connections,
I
and they
mean,
have the CCTV, whatever you want to call it, footage of around Navarro of them setting down.
yeah.
So
Gideon was an ISB agent, so that's Imperial Security Bureau. They basically they're the ears in the walls basically. So like he was high up in like information gathering before he was even a Moff. So he knows a lot of shit that
like
no one else would.
literally, he's just naming everyone. By the way, there's a rat 3 feet away from you.
Yeah, kind
You were
of.
born off world, but you came here to settle with your family. If you give them up, mouse, you could also live another day. Like, he's just talking to everything in the wall. The cockroach that's actually up above the ceiling in the walls. I know you're there.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Not gonna lie.
Tim Johnson, you're in the John right now, taking a poo. But you know
Right.
what? You
Oh,
could be part of the Empire.
that was another cool
Just
cameo.
everything.
The
Who?
Death Troopers that he has with him because he's a high
Yes.
official. Like, yeah, he's gonna have a squad of them around him. Because when I saw them come into the firing line, I was like, "Oh no!" Like even Kara at that point would be like, "Fuck."
And I love that so much. You see a death trooper, and yeah, those guys are not about the paycheck. They like, you could argue that if the stormtroopers, maybe they're like, oh wait, we're not getting paid. Like Jason Sudeikis and the other guy,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, wait, we're not getting paid. Then why the fuck are we here? But the death troopers, they're like, oh no 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 no, we
Yeah.
like this.
We are bred for this life.
This is what we're here to do, and I think that's, that kind of
It's just
loyalty.
Tao kill you.
Say that one more time.
It's just General Tao. They just have "kill you" written across their back. Ow.
Yeah. Oh god, did Patchy attack you?
Yeah,
Your cat?
yeah. She just bit me. Jesus.
Why?
Because she's a little shit sometimes.
That's fair. All
She
right.
my
So,
attention.
you weren't petting her for a second?
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, love you all so much. We ran a little bit longer this time, but you know what? I mean, there's 8 amazing episodes to talk about. So,
Oh.
tell us. No, you're not fucking saying any more, Tristan.
Okay. I wasn't, but
Oh,
I mean,
sorry. I thought.
I know. Hey, all right, you already started. You got me.
Okay, because I'm a little nervous now.
I know. It's okay. It's fine.
All right. We've gone on for almost 2 hours, Tristan.
Oh. You knew this would happen, Matt.
That's true, but it doesn't make it right.
All right. Well, do your piece.
Love you all so much. Please comment down below. Tristan, if you would like to comment on the YouTube video, those guys on the radio, which is our YouTube channel, you could also leave your final thoughts.
Oh my god.
You can comment on that when it's up. Seriously, though, if you guys want to watch it there, you can. You can watch it through our Podbean as well, which is also those guys on the radio. You could also give to our Patreon, patreon.com/GG Productions. Depending on what tier you give to, you can actually get access to download this and everything else that's in our archive as well. Again, patreon.com/GG Productions. And no matter where you find us, again, either our YouTube channel, those guys on the radio, and you find this video and comment down below with your favorite scene in this season, or if you go to our Twitter at those guys radio and you comment there. Whatever way you do it, thank you so much. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about The Mandalorian Season 1. And hopefully there's a Season 2, but hopefully there's not a movie.
Oh yeah. Well, season 2's already been confirmed.
Hell yeah.
All 2020, baby.
Wait, fall 2020?
All 2020.
That is soon.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, not really, but... Well, this came out late 2019. I think that's why I feel like it's soon.
Yeah. This started, November 12th, 2019.
Yeah. So, and it was only 8 episodes. So starting, like, in September?
Yeah.
That's not so bad. All right, so, love you all. Take care. Tune in next time for another episode of Star Wars Wednesday.
And always, this is the way.